On the Sunday, and perhaps the weakest edition of AEW Double or Nothing, arguably the weakest AEW pay-per-view since they launched the company in 2019. I'm praying that it's more just down to congestion with a plethora of big events like they've got Forbidden Door in June, All In Wembley in August, which I'm going to be attending, and then All Out a week later, along with the debut of the Saturday night show AEW Collision, which has reportedly been built around that absolute toxic mess of a man, CM Punk. But so this show, I hope, is just one that got the squeeze, and that's why it's so bare bones. Because for a company claiming that they've so much talent that they need a second big weekly show, the card looks incredibly threadbare, and the past few weeks of television, to be honest, have felt as much so. Look at some of the matches that we have on here. You have Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Oh, why are they still a major part of the programming? Challenging FTR for the tag team titles. You've got Mark Briscoe as a special guest referee for that. You've got Orange Cassidy's International Championship on the line in the Battle Royal. You've got Ethan Page and the Guns taking on the Hardy Boys. Really, is this a pay-per-view match? This seems like an AEW dark match. You've got Wardlow against Christian Cage, which isn't going to be a bad match. It's a ladder match for a TNT title. But until last week, maybe this is just me and I just wasn't paying enough attention. Did anyone else think Christian was the guy challenging? I was sure it was Luchasaurus the entire time, but apparently no, it's Christian fighting for the belt. You've got Jade Cargill's TBS title defense against Taya Valkyrie, and that feels like one of the better built matches, and that is not a compliment because Jade Cargill has gotten used for as dominant as she's been. She has zero momentum because they use her the exact same every week and have done for months now. In the bigger matches, you've got Adam Cole taking on Chris Jericho in an unsanctioned match where it feels insane for anything other than a Cole win, and it's crazy to think that Cole has gone from being the face of NXT when they had the original Wednesday Night War with AEW and lost, to being someone AEW feel like they're absolutely reliant upon to add some star power to their cards now. I'm sure this is going to be a fine match. I'm just not really feeling it. Cole's winning. I don't see any argument for Jericho winning this. Speaking of inevitable results, does anyone feel for a second, do you believe that any of Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, or Jungle Boy are taking the AEW Championship off MJF? Look, I get what they're going for with the 4 pillars of AEW angle. Like, they want to have this as a tentpole match to look back on and say that we did. I just don't feel that the current state of play makes them look particularly strong for that and for doing so. Sammy is someone that they've just never committed to and constantly go back and forth between him being a joke character and a serious wrestler. Darby is just a weird dude with some pretty worrying allegations out there about him at worst. And even the stuff that he kind of admits to doing in his spare time, like he's admitted to like paying hobos to hurt themselves and stuff like that in interviews, point to him not being a guy to put any stock in whatsoever. While Jungle Boy has proven to be a bit of a geek who's cringy whenever they put him in any kind of position of strength. So again, I understand what they're saying, but it doesn't feel like this is a match built around all 4 pillars coming together and peaking at the same time, which is what you want when you do this kind of match. It feels like they just had nothing else and they just kind of mashed together 3 challenges and then used the 4 pillars thing as an excuse. Whatever happens, MGF retains to continue a title reign that unfortunately is not living up to the promise so far. Another part of the reason the show has felt so threadbare is that the one match on the card I'm really buzzing for has so many of the people you watch AEW for. So as stacked as the Anarchy in the Arena match between the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club is, it can only take up X amount of time on TV per week, leaving everything else feel less than because all of the big exciting stars are here. That's not the guys' fault, though. They're doing a great job with what they've been given. I feel it's been a constant highlight and reminds us why we're here to begin with, which is much needed at times with the TV shows they've been putting out. And I can't see this match not delivering. On one hand, I feel like it's pointing towards the Elite winning to justify Hangman's reunion with the group last week, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a twist or a new Blackpool Combat Club member added to keep it going, as these matches in recent years generally end up with a war game shortly thereafter. I can't remember what they call it, Rage in the Cage or whatever, but it's a war games match. So I feel like that's what it's pointing towards. So the best way to do that is to have some shenanigans of Blackpool Combat Club win. But again, it's a complete toss-up because Hangman's just come back. Do you have them lose their first match with them all back together? It's an interesting one anyway. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be great, and it's the one match on the card that I'm looking forward to. One thing I'll say is please do not put it on at the same time as Succession. You know, or from 2 to half 3, or from 9 to half 10 US time. That is Succession time. Put all of the shit matches that I spoke about earlier in that time slot so I can watch Succession, and then let me come back and watch Anarchy in the Arena and the bigger matches then.